Hi, and welcome back to Cinema Figures. So, of course, it's the month of the Irish, aka March, St. Patrick's Day. Let's hit some green beer. Let's watch all the St. Patrick's Day horror movies and, maybe throw a few horseshoes and wear some green. That being said, I had to touch on a St. Patrick's Day horror movie for this, but instead of going for one of the classic Leprechaun movies, which I think I'm maybe one of like 50 people in the world that actually genuinely loves those movies, I decided to go a little off the wall and go with the wannabe Leprechaun movie. Okay, so before I get into it, Red Clover from 2012, an After Dark Films release, also with Lionsgate and Sci-Fi. Red Clover actually was written by Anthony C. Ferrante. I don't know. We all know I'm really bad with names, but he is the guy who you may know as the creator of the Sharknado series. So, little tidbit about this film. This film actually predates Sharknado and references Sharknado a few years before it actually happens. So, of course, Ferrante wanted to do a Leprechaun movie, but couldn't get the rights and couldn't afford to actually do a Leprechaun movie, so instead he decided to do his own killer Leprechaun movie, and that is what we get with Red Clover. Now, a little bit more before we jump into the film. This is directed by Drew Daywalt, aka the writer of The Day the Crowns Quit. Yes, The Day the Crowns Quit, the children's book series. Let's just kind of wrap that all up into one, shall we? But moving on, Red Clover. Red Clover, of course, starring the great Billy Zane, because, that guy's having a lot of fun since Titanic, and we got to work for it. All right, so Karen O'Hara and her pops, aka her grandfather, are out and about hunting in Keating Woods. And what should she stumble across? But a red clover. So when we get to actually see it, she's kind of gone through this whole mysterious area. There's this tree with all these horseshoes and weird Celtic runes marked all over it. It gives you bad juju vibes pretty much immediately. You're like, probably shouldn't handle anything around here. Probably should like back away and go the other way around. No, she sees the red clover, which I didn't actually know before a quick Google search that was actually a real thing. Apparently red clovers are good for your hair and skin. Who knew? But a red clover, which looks nothing like a realistic red clover, is just there in the middle of all of this weird shrubbery. Yes, shrubbery. And she decides to pick it. That was a bad idea. You see this plant hanging out and about? Stay the fuck away from it. Because what ensues ends up with a burn and kind of the release of an evil entity, aka a leprechaun. And this is not the wise Kraken Limerick fun times leprechaun that we all know and love. No, this is a Lucha-Pain. So this is a Lucha-Pain 2 years before the Leprechaun series ripped it off and did Leprechaun's Origin with Hornswoggle. Yes, the film that I prefer to pretend never actually existed. Yeah. But anywho, this is a whole 2 years before then. Anywho, so this Lucha-Pain, covered in all sorts of nonsense, decides to attack Karen. She now is marked by the curse of the red clover. Now, Karen, she's a for real final girl, and gun toting, ready to go down without a fight. Anywho, moving on into the rest of the story, Karen, her pops, and her dad, Billy Zane. Yes, Billy Zane, of course, over the fact that his drunken Irishman father is kind of the butt of a lot of jokes in their small town. So there's a lot of different rumors about the dark history of this town, that a couple families from Ireland brought a monstrous creature with them and milked it of all of its gold and turned it pretty much evil and cruel, and it wanted revenge. So they ended up having to do some sort of weird ceremony and lock it away. This is the same monstrous leprechaun that Karen has just released on this small town of Keating. So, of course, throughout a little bit of a dream sequence and a lot of weird kind of mid-ish 2000s Google searches and a quick trip to your local library. Yes, we do go to the local library in this movie, because, you know, that's still a thing, thankfully. We find out a bit more about leprechauns and a lot of folklore with that. And we find out exactly what the hell is going on with Karen. So Karen has been scarred with the mark of the red clover. So every single day, a new one of the petals or leaves is going to burn through her hand right here. And until we hit the 4th day, when she's supposed to either die, succumb to some sort of weird infection in her body, or the leprechaun's gonna kill her, eat her. I don't really know. It's not 100% clear on that. It just kind of references some weird things throughout. I'm not sure if she's gonna die through infection or if the leprechaun's gonna eat her. Either way, it does not sound like a good way to go. So a bunch of weird hallucinations and kind of dream sequences throughout, and she starts to piece together exactly what is happening and what is going to happen to her. So she's gonna have to mount up, get some horseshoes, and get ready to fight. So as Karen's trying to piece together what exactly it is that's happening to her, Leppy's having some fun in her hometown once again. And this is not the leprechaun that just kind of collects gold because it's shiny and he likes it, because, you know, we all like shiny things. No, this is the leprechaun that wants to eat gold. And eat he does, and other things. This is a much more monstrous version of a leprechaun than what we're used to. And I will tell you, for a made-for-TV horror film, not too bad. Not too bad. It's a little ridiculous, the amount of gold that people are just kind of throwing around, though, on this. Like, you're going to tell me a cheap kind of parade float queen has real gold in her crown? Okay. It looked plastic to me personally, but sure, we'll go with that's real gold. We'll go with it. We'll just, it's fine. It's fine. So anywho, we do have a little bit of the lore with the Tree of Tears and Keating Woods and references to, you know, the Luck of the Irish, of course. And we do have an actual Irish pub throughout, which I really, really appreciate. I appreciate a lot of this film for what it is. It's a lot of things that we don't get. Yeah, it's campy. Yes, it's cheesy. And the acting is not always at its best. But it's fun. It's a fun ride. And I think that this is a much better film than what the actual Leprechaun series would give us 2 years later with Leprechaun Origins. Sorry, shots fired. I hate that fucking movie. Hornswoggle, you should be ashamed of yourself, because what was that? What was that? It was horrible. It's horrible. Leprechaun deserved better. Any Hoosiers. We do have that weird sequence of them trying to figure out how they're going to take down the leprechaun, them having to collect the various horseshoes, even some of the things with the leprechaun attacking people. It's a little much for me. But all in all, it's a fun ride. I would say the down points for this movie, the jokes. they're a little too flat for me. Like the MILF book, the the myths and Irish lore and folklore. Like, really. And then I understand that the director and the writer are throwing out a few Easter eggs here and there for other projects they want to do later on. Like, we have the references to Sharknado, which, fun. Well done, little quip there. Good job there. But then we're going to have that weird, like, what happened to mom? Oh, it was Black Friday and I lost her in the crowd. I came back every single day and I kept paging her for a year. Could never find her. Really? Okay. So, I love so much this movie. It's so campy. It's so cheesy. It's not necessarily a good movie. It's a good bad movie, and I would highly suggest you go ahead and watch it this St. Patrick's Day if you're looking for a new Killer Leprechaun movie. We don't have the limericks and a lot of the kind of kooky aspects that we get from our OG Leprechaun. It's not this guy. It's not, unfortunately. But I felt like there were a few scenes that were thrown in that were trying kind of to be like that. There's one scene in particular where a local journalist is trying to trick this leprechaun into, coming into view of a camera, but all we get is a leprechaun stealing a car and then running him over. Like, this leprechaun can fucking drive now? Okay. I mean, it was never explained or anything beforehand, but all right. I'll totally buy this leprechaun can drive all of a sudden. I'm totally fine with it. So, yeah. If you find yourself this St. Patrick's Day looking for a decent horror film that's not too much of a strenuous thing, not too much of a commitment, and definitely not something that you're going to be trying to figure out later, I would say 100% go ahead and pick up your own copy of Red Clover. Unfortunately, it's only available either on demand digital copies or through DVD like this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the ultraviolet UV code on this is no longer a thing, because I don't even think that ultraviolet digital stuff is still necessarily a thing.
It is.
But Mark says it is, so we're going to go with it. But Red Clover, it's a fun ride. It's a good watch. I would highly suggest it, especially for a made-for-TV movie. Why the hell not? It's a fun ride. Until next time, I'm your host, Caitlin. Bye. Who knew that horseshoes were like crucifixes with vampires? But you just use a horseshoe and a leprechaun doesn't want to come near you. I've never had that explained to me before, but okay, we'll go with it. We'll 100% go with it.